BBC One. Have you got a tatty 1960s kitchen? They have over on BBC Two now, ready for a makeover in changing rooms. Yesterday's sad news means some changes to tonight's programmes here on BBC One. After an extended 9 o'clock news, at 9:50 a tribute to Diana, the People's Princess. At 10:45, later than billed, Preston Front. Then at 11:30, the return of Film 97. Some of Britain's religious leaders call for reflection at midnight, and that takes us up to the film starring Glenn Ford as the Sheep Man at 10 midnight. On BBC One now, the 9 o'clock news with Peter Sissons.
It's been revealed that the driver of the car in which the Princess of Wales died had drunk more than twice the British legal limit. Witnesses tell the 9 o'clock news that photographers swarmed over the crashed Mercedes. Westminster Abbey is chosen for her funeral, a unique funeral for a unique person. And the tide of people who've come to grieve and pay tribute grows by the hour. Good evening. The prosecutor's office in Paris has released disturbing details of the crash which killed Diana, Princess of Wales, in the early hours of Sunday morning. The driver, who also was killed in the crash, had a blood alcohol level more than 3 times the French limit and over twice the British one, the equivalent of 10 glasses of wine. And the Mercedes car in which Diana and her friend Dodi Al-Fayed died was apparently travelling at 121 miles an hour. Sources close to the investigation are reported as saying that the impact had jammed the speedometer on that figure. The French lawyer acting for the Al-Fayed family said Mohammed Al-Fayed, Dodi's father, was obsessed with Diana's security. His instructions were to find the truth. From Paris, our chief news correspondent, Kate Adie.
While feelings run high about responsibility for the fatal accident, there are conflicting details about the circumstances. 2 vehicles set off from the Ritz Hotel on Saturday night. A Range Rover with the Al-Fayed's official driver, a decoy which lured away half a dozen waiting photographers. And then the Mercedes with the Princess of Wales in it, driven from the rear of the hotel by Henri Paul, a member of the hotel's security staff. It also was pursued by paparazzi on motorbikes. The Mercedes was armoured and therefore somewhat unwieldy. It's thought to have entered the underpass at least 100 miles an hour. Today, the French police say that Henri Paul, who died in the crash, had over 3 times the legal level of alcohol in his blood. The most reliable witness is in hospital. Trevor Rees-Jones, the bodyguard, who's also employed by the Al-Fayed family, was seriously injured, and he is still in intensive care. Another witness is Dr. Frédéric Maillet. He happened to drive past minutes after the crash, and he gave the princess emergency treatment.
Et donc j'ai porté secours à la jeune femme qui était derrière, qui s'est révélée être Lady Di. Moi je l'ai pas reconnue.
I went to the aid of a young woman in the back of the car who turned out to be Lady Diana, but I didn't recognize her immediately. I helped her free her upper respiratory tracts, because they were in a position in which you just can't breathe if you're unconscious.
Donc je lui ai relevé la tête et je l'ai aidé à respirer.
I lifted her head and helped her breathe with an oxygen mask.
The doctor then described the photographers at the scene.
There were many of them, 10 or 15, and they were snapping away at the car non-stop.
7 photographers have been in custody since the accident. Their films have been confiscated, but other pictures are believed to have been offered for sale. Despite the evidence that the driver of the Mercedes was well over the limit, the Al-Fayed's lawyer is insisting that the blame lies with the press.
Je dis que ces photographes ont commis un délit, que ce délit c'est le délit de tentative.
I say that these photographers have committed an offence. It is the offence of an attempt of the violation of private life, and that offence calls what happened later.
The accusations fly, but the sense of loss is still more important for people here. At the British Embassy, there has been a long queue all day to sign a book of condolence. Tonight, the photographers are still in custody. It's thought that some of them may be charged tomorrow, probably with failing to assist at the scene of an accident. This is an uncomfortable time for the French authorities. The unedifying scenes in the underpass, the row about the behavior of the paparazzi, the sense that blame must lie somewhere, and all against a background of genuine sorrow about what has happened. Kate Adie, BBC News, Paris.